Hey everyone. Every once in a while, I like to give you the cold hard truth. Every once in a while, I would like to give you the cold hard truth. In fact, I am actually switching up this video from people will live a life and stretch their last dollar into poverty into the most common things that I hear people say to me all the time. All the time. So a lot of people don't really understand what it's like to live on this side of the world where you're debt free outside of the mortgage. You have no bills that consume your life. I don't even pay my own bills. Other people pay them for me. People don't understand what that's like. So let me explain to you what it's like to coach up people with a different mentality, a mentality of debt, a mentality of stretching your last dollar into poverty, a mentality of, you know, financial disparity for the rest of their waking life. Let me tell you what it's like to speak to someone like that. Here's a question that I would be asked. Hey, how can I improve my life? And before I can answer the question, here's their first response. If I make more money, my life and my debt and my finances will all be in order. Here's the problem with that statement. They're absolutely wrong. You see, if they made $30,000 a year, they could probably only max out $5,000 in credit cards. But because they made $50,000 a year, they were able to max out $20,000 in credit cards. Because they made $75,000 a year, they were able to max out $30,000 in credit cards. On top of that, they continue to live their life the way they wanted to. Vacations, car rentals, alcohol, parties, celebrating life with others, and making sure everybody felt included through their finances and to throwing money away because they value personal connections more than their own financial freedom. The more money they get, the more debt they'll have. If they make $200,000 a year, they'll find a way to get into $100,000 in debt. Because that money that they've never had gives them a rush. It excites them. They don't know what it's like to actually hold on to this thing. The first thing that comes to their mind is, how do I spend this? How do I have fun with this money? It is an adrenaline rush that they are not prepared for. So the more money they make, the worse their life actually becomes. The number one thing that I always hear from people who will remain poor is, if I make more money, I will be debt free. Number one things that I hear from people who already have a plan, know that they can actually do this plan and be financially free, but don't. They'll say, you don't understand what it's like. Everybody else is different. No two people are the same. We are all not the same. That's the same logic that you can literally use with everything in life, is that we're all not the same. For example, we were all born in different days, different times, different seconds. We all went into different fields of studies, or no studies, or no trades. We all grew up in different parts of the world. But one thing is that we can all get jobs. We can all work. We can all build a budget. We can all plan. We can all follow those processes. Whether you chose to do something else with your life does not mean that you cannot reach financial freedom, just like hundreds of millions of people have done ever since. Whether you have a child, whether you don't have a child, many people have been in worse situations than you and have come out of it. So your excuse is invalid, and if you have excuses, you probably shouldn't be talking to me, right? So that number 2 is, you don't understand, because everybody's situation is different. Although that may be true, I do understand, because although everyone's situation is different, the same way you get out of the situation is the same way you got in it, is the opposite of how you got in it, which is, instead of creating debt, you pay the damn thing off. All right? And that's the only way people get out of it, unless they filing for bankruptcy. With that being said, on to number 3. Number 3 things that I hear is, I don't want to not live the life that I want to live right now for my future. And I can understand that it is tough to cut back on things, especially when you've already fallen into a deep hole. Now you got to get rid of 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000. This can be very, very, very traumatizing. This can be very, very depressing. This can be something that nobody really wants to deal with, because they understand that it's going to take 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 years to get rid of all of this debt. And you don't want to live like no one else so that you can live like no one else. That's a Dave Ramsey quote. You don't want to live like no one else, poor and really struggling, living the way you financially are, so that you can live like no one else later, which is how I'm kind of living. Let's keep it 100. So instead of giving up these things, you continue to try and live the same lifestyle. What shies you away from being your perfect self is living that lifestyle right now. I can tell you right now, as I am, there are things that I want in this world that I just can't have right now. I have some money, but I can blow that in a day on a nice car or a nice home. I could blow it in a day. All the savings, all the investments that I have created for myself could be blown in a day. If I just decide I want the best car, or I want to go on a year vacation, I can literally go to Dubai for a year and just chill there. But instead, I know that going there for a year and then coming back broke is the absolute worst thing that I can do to myself. Buying one vehicle and then being broke, giving somebody all my money to be broke again, is the worst thing that I could do to myself. Buying one house to live in a couple of box and say I'm rich and show off to others is the worst thing that I can do for myself. The best thing I can do is pay off what I already got. Continue to stack. Continue to have that compound interest grow for me. Continue to live the way I live. And I call this frugal. To other people, they will say I'm living my best life. A life that they have not seen yet. A life that they are only wishing and dreaming for. So understand that there are others who wish that they were in your position, even yours. And that you can make your position better by taking steps every single day. It is boring. It is not fun. It is not exciting. But it is stress-free. It is a life of no worry. It is a life where you can really, really, really set aside some time for enjoyment and say, you know what? It was worth the wait. If you like what I'm talking about so far, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe, because I do work hard to give you the best content, the most real content, the most truthful content. Here's another thing that I hear often. I'm addicted. Whether it's addicted to drugs, whether it's addicted to spending money, whether it's addicted to women or men, whether it's an addiction to gambling, whether it's addictions to high risk, high reward, leverage situations, Ponzi schemes, or spending your last dollar on get rich quick schemes. They're addicted. And what I realize is that it doesn't matter what age you are. This will continue until somebody really decides, I gotta change. I gotta do something different. A lot of the times, the way that happens is if there's a death in the family, or they lose that support system that they once had, and now they have to pick up the pieces and start life on hard mode. No more easy routes. No more escapes. No more people to say, I got your back. You've exhausted all of your options. Now you have to play the game on hard mode. Whether you're ready for it or not, you're thrown in that fire. And nobody really wants to die. So they're going to learn how to put on that firefighter jacket. They're going to learn how to stop, drop, and roll. And they're going to roll to the finish line if they have to and start running after they get out of that fire. The problem is that if they had started earlier, they would have avoided the fire entirely. They would have been able to walk to the finish line. They would have been able to sprint through the rest of their life. All right. Those are the first couple of things that I always hear. Now, some of my pet peeves, although it shouldn't have been a part of this video, some of my pet peeves are when people ask me for advice and never take it. Never take it. They just ask me for advice. They know it works. They see the numbers. They know, oh, this is logical, but they don't take it. A year or two later, they come back to me. They say, oh, yeah, you were right. It doesn't feel good, though. It doesn't feel good to hear you're right. I just look at it like you had the chance to succeed. You had the opportunity to do better, and you just chose not to. Why? Why? What possessed you to live the same way you're living a whole year later? What possessed you to do that? Okay? Again, as we go through this journey called life, you have a chance to change your life every single day. And people choose to remain in the same situations every single day. Make sure you make the right decisions. Again, if you like this video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You know I post every single day at 8 a.m. daily. And I can't wait to see you on the next one. Peace.